Because of faith in Jesus Christ, we are different. We are not the same. And because we are no longer the same, because we are different, we cannot act like we used to do in our former selves. We are not the same as we once were. We are a raised people. So our minds have been raised. Our affections have been raised. Everything about us has been raised. And so we take off what doesn't fit. Because our lives have been crucified with Christ. We no longer live, but Jesus Christ lives in us. And so what we take off is not just simply ourselves. We take it off because it doesn't fit on Jesus Christ. Put to death, therefore, what is earthly in you. When Paul says put to death, it really captures this term of mortification. And that is the action of putting to death the desires of the flesh. And so Christian, believer, follower in Jesus Christ, we are in the business of putting things to death, and that is going to battle. So pull up. God is not asking us to do something that he has not done himself. Jesus Christ was put to death for our sin. And he is simply inviting us to now put to death our own struggles, our own battles with sin, because Jesus Christ died for sin. Like, take off these things that hinder us. Take off these things that can so easily get us tied up with sin. Take those things off and pull up, go to war. Why is it that these things didn't fit anymore? Good question. Because those things went in the grave and Jesus ain't there anymore. God is about to pull up. Jesus is coming back, and all evil that ever existed will be put to death once and for all. God will pull up. We must know that we are no longer there anymore. We are no longer dead to sin. We're no longer conformed to the ways of this world. We are no longer hemmed in and in bondage to the prince of the power of air that was there. But now we're here in freedom. And so here we put to death, as Paul would say, there's here no Greek or Jew. So here we put to death ethnic and racial tensions here. And so church, what Paul is saying here is that the church will not be divided on the account of racial tension or racism, but we will unify because of the blood of Jesus Christ. And so what that means, that because we are now a new humanity in Jesus Christ, what that means is that if my brother or sister is hurting, the body hurts. And so church, when a brother or a sister is hurting, the body feels that. The body should come near to that, to help mend that, to help correct that, so that the whole can now function rightly. Deal with your own securities, your own biases, etc., so that the church continues to advance God's mission that all ethnos would come into relationship with Jesus Christ. Church, I don't believe we can share the gospel with people that we're afraid of. And so if there is anything that may hinder us from coming into community with one another, we have to put that to death. So church, let's not sit back in the wake of dark, wicked, sinful actions. Let's take off and let's pull up. And so because we are here in the heavenly places where Jesus is seated at the right hand of God, the church, we will war against our own sin. We will war against the sin around us. And we will live unified in Jesus Christ, because that's what the gospel calls us to.